What's going on, baseball fans? How are we doing? So the St. Louis Cardinals are absolutely red hot. They've won 16 straight games. They have all but secured a wild card spot for the playoffs this year. But the question is, how dangerous can they be in the playoffs this year? Let's go talk about it. Okay, here we go. So like I said, they've won 16 straight games. They have all but locked up the second wild card spot. You had all these teams that were so close at one point, but they have just completely run away with it. It's looking like it's going to be the Cardinals against either the Dodgers or the Giants. As of right now, it would be the Dodgers, but that West is rather close. So it's still a little up in the air, but the Cardinals absolutely will have that second wild card spot. So what in the world have the Cardinals been up to lately? 16 straight wins. Let's talk about how they have just gone on this incredible run. Let's start with the offense. The offense since September 13th, they are first in offense on Fangraphs. They are first in batting average with a 296. They are first in home runs with 28. They are first in ISO percentage. They are first in hard hit percentage. They are first in WPALI, which means they are good in high leverage situations. This St. Louis Cardinals offense has been absolutely on fire. Starting off with a guy like Paul Goldschmidt. I mean, look at what he's been doing. This guy has been hitting 400 over his last 14 games. 7 home runs, 16 RBIs. He's scoring a lot of runs as well at 22. That's thanks in large part to a 477 on base. Look at that slugging. An 891 slugging. A 491 ISO percentage. Are you kidding me? He's walking over 10% of the time. Paul Goldschmidt has been out of his mind, but another guy that's been really stepping up lately. Someone that's been more known for his glove in recent years, Harrison Bader. Look at what he's been doing. He's also hitting over 400 in his last 14 games. He's got 4 home runs, 12 RBIs. He's got a couple stolen bases in there as well. A 439 on base, a 778 slugging. Are you kidding me, Harrison Bader? But let's talk about Tyler O'Neill. I think he should be getting some MVP votes this year. He has just been going crazy for just a while now, but including the last 2 weeks. 7 home runs in the last 2 weeks, 21 RBIs, a 316 average, a 365 on base, a 719 slugging. Tyler O'Neill has just been going off. Even someone like Nolan Arenado has been hitting okay too. A 260 average, a 356 on base, a 420 slugging. Not the best numbers overall, but he is providing, a solid bat in that lineup. The St. Louis Cardinals right now are just going absolutely crazy. And it's not even just these guys. There's guys like Dylan Carlson that have been hitting well. Edmundo Sosa's had his moments. Hey, everyone is hitting right now in this lineup for the Cardinals. They're just on fire. But let's go talk about that starting pitching. Now, the St. Louis Cardinals starting pitching, it hasn't been amazing to say the least, but they have been doing enough to get it done. If we take a look at some of the numbers, they are tied for second in wins since September 13th with 6. They're 6th in ERA with a 3.29. We'll talk about why that ERA is looking pretty good here in just a moment. They're also 7th in WPALI, so they're pitching really well in high leverage situations. The St. Louis Cardinals, like I said, not the most amazing numbers overall, a few decent numbers here, but they're getting the job done. They're getting enough done. And let's take a look at some of these guys. Look at someone like Jake Woodford over his last 3 starts, a 2.51 ERA with a solid 3.58 FIP. Not a lot of strikeouts from him. That's not really his game. Let's take a look at J.A. Happ and John Lester. They got these guys at the deadline. These guys have been pitching really well. A 3.38 ERA and a 3.04 FIP for J.A. Happ with 9 strikeouts per 9. Lester's been solid for the most part, a 3.71 ERA. Not a big fan of that 4.99 FIP, but he is taking advantage of the defense. That's what John Lester should be doing. He's not the same John Lester of old. He needs to be working more with that defense. But hey, the star of the show, Adam Wainwright this year. Take a look at Adam Wainwright. What a season. This guy deserves some Cy Young votes. Absolutely. This guy's had a phenomenal season. Over 31 starts, a 3.05 ERA, a 3.62 FIP, and he's getting it done without really striking out a lot of guys. The key for him, he's been mixing and matching. He's been locating, and he's not giving up a lot of home runs. He's not walking a lot of guys. You got to love what Adam Wainwright has done. And Jack Flaherty just came back recently. Hopefully he can get his innings ramped up because that's going to be a big boost for the St. Louis Cardinals starting rotation. If I were to pick one thing on this team that I am a little concerned about, it is the starting rotation. But they have been getting it done because of this defense. This defense is phenomenal. In the last 2 weeks, they rank first in defensive runs above average on Fangraphs with a 6.1. But in all of 2021, they rank fourth in defense with a 29.3. But take a look at the defensive runs saved. 80 defensive runs saved. That is insane. That ranks first in all of 2021. The St. Louis Cardinals, they're not going to strike a whole ton of guys out. They're going to rely on that defense, and that's why you are seeing some of these higher FIPs in here. But that's not what the Cardinals, like I said, they're not trying to blow guys away. They're trying to play to their strengths. Their defense, in my opinion, you could say the defense is probably the biggest strength of this team. They're doing the right thing. They know exactly what they have. They're working with what they have, and that's what I like about the Cardinals. Let's go talk about that bullpen. This bullpen has been outstanding in the last couple of weeks. Since September 13th, they are first in saves with 6. Giovanni Gallegos has been phenomenal. They're also first in wins in the last couple of weeks. This bullpen has really stepped up late in games. They're also 7th in home runs per 9 with a 0.65, just a little over a half a home run per 9. And they're also 8th in barrel percentage with a 5.4%. Overall, the Cardinals bullpen has really stepped up. Overall, you're getting just a lot of guys just doing their thing. Giovanni Gallegos, like I said, 6 saves. He has just been dominant. He has really taken to that closer role with a 1.29 ERA. FIP scares me a little bit. It's 2 runs higher, so look out for that. The reason it's a little higher right there is because of the 5.14 walks per 9. That's a little scary. It's a little hairy. I don't like that too much, but the guy's striking out a lot of guys. 14 strikeouts per 9. He's been getting it done overall. But guys like Cody Whitley, Genesis Cabrera, these guys haven't given up a run in the last couple of weeks. These guys have really stepped up. Even someone like Dakota Hudson just came back recently. ERA isn't looking too great, but the FIP at 2.89, that's a good sign from him. Same thing with a TJ McFarland. He's putting in a lot of innings here, a much better FIP than an ERA. So definitely take note of that. They also, got Andrew Miller here. Like I said, FIP in the negatives here. Andrew Miller's stuff, I like Andrew Miller a lot. ERA looks high, but hey, Andrew Miller, negative 0.44 FIP. That's really good. You're getting some other guys here like Justin Miller, Kwang Hyun Kim, haven't given up a run in the last couple of weeks. This bullpen has just been great. You got to love what this bullpen's been doing for the Cardinals. What I like about this Cardinals team is that the starting pitching, they're playing to their strengths with that defense. And then if they can just do enough and get to this bullpen, it's looking like a sure thing lately. Like I said, 8-0 in the last couple of weeks out of this bullpen. I mean, that's not that bad. And Giovanni Gallegos, he's been getting it done. He's been slamming the door at the end of games. But what could the Cardinals do in the playoffs? So like I mentioned, we all know how hot the St. Louis Cardinals have been. They've won 16 straight games. This team is just nutty at the moment. If we take a look at the St. Louis Cardinals in the month of September, as of right now, they're 20-6. They have just been absolutely phenomenal. This reminds me of a few other teams that also had September success and were able to either get to a World Series or win the whole stinking thing. I mean, you got the 2007 Colorado Rockies. They were hotter than anyone that year. 20-8 in the month of September, getting all the way to that tiebreaker game against the Padres, making it all the way to the World Series. Who they got swept by my Red Sox, might I add. You got the 2003 Florida Marlins. They were 18-8 in the month of September, ended up winning the World Series against the Yankees that year. And I mean, last but not least, let's take a look at the 2011 St. Louis Cardinals. I mean, this team was very hot in the month of September, 18-8 overall that month, ended up winning the whole thing in one of the most exciting World Series of all time. However, if we take a look at some of the longest win streaks that were able to get these teams to the playoffs, they haven't had a lot of success overall. If we take a look at the longest late season winning streak since 1969, we remember Cleveland just a few years ago, 22 straight wins. They lost in the division round. The A's back in 2002, an incredible run. The Moneyball A's losing in the first round. The Royals in 1977 losing in the first round. And here are the Cardinals as of right now. They have they're tied for the 3rd longest win streak in near the end of the season. So got to wait and see how they go. You had the Orioles in 73, lost in that first round. The Phillies in 77. Hey, look at the 77. You had a lot of win streaks there at the end. They lost in the first round. There has not been a lot of success from these teams where they have won the whole thing. I mean, unfortunately, history is not on the Cardinals' side here, but they are red hot. These numbers are looking really good. I wouldn't want to go up against this Cardinals team. I mean, it's not going to be a fun team to go up against, especially in a one-game playoff. In a one-game playoff, let's say, or in the wild card game, let's say we're looking at Dodgers and the Cardinals. And I would think most likely you're going to go with an Adam Wainwright. He's been your guy this year. This has been your go-to guy. This is your veteran. You got to put him in the wild card game. I don't see why you wouldn't. And let's say he goes up against the Dodgers. He actually just pitched against the Dodgers not too long ago. Actually went into the 9th inning. This guy ended up having a really decent start overall. I mean, good grief. I mean, what a game from him. Ended up being a lot closer than it should have been. But overall, he got the win. Adam Wainwright is going to be your guy in the wild card game. But then I worry a little bit about the start. Let's say they were able to knock off the Dodgers. I'll talk about the Dodgers here in a second. Let's say they're able to knock them off. I'm a little worried about this team, when it comes to the division round, especially if you end up going up against, let's say, the Giants. I mean, you got some good starting pitching over on that side. I think overall, the Cardinals would be able to do enough with the starting pitching. I think that they would have enough there to be able to get the job done. But the Giants, man, they have just been a really consistent team this year. That's going to be a really tough team to get by in the first round. But they got to get by the Dodgers first off. If you got Adam Wainwright for the Cardinals in the wild card game, the Dodgers, they're going to throw out Max Scherzer. And Max Scherzer has just been having just a stupid year. He has been amazing since coming over from the Dodgers. If we take a look at his numbers with the Dodgers, he's undefeated since coming over with a 1.43 ERA and a 1.56 FIP, 12 strikeouts per 9. Max Scherzer, he's definitely going to get some Cy Young votes. This is going to be a really tough matchup for the St. Louis Cardinals if this is the way it goes. Adam Wainwright, Max Scherzer, what a pitching matchup that would be. But man, oh man, the way Scherzer's been pitching, I'm always someone, I'm going to take good pitching over good hitting. I understand the Cardinals offense has been just red hot. I get that. But man, this is like a brick wall kind of a guy here, man. This is going to be a really tough matchup for the St. Louis Cardinals if this is what it ends up being. The Cardinals, I think, they're on just some kind of a run right now. We have seen teams make runs in the past, getting hot in the month of September, where they've been able to either get to a World Series or even win a World Series. And I mean, but this team, I don't know. I just wonder matchup wise, it's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy. I understand they're red hot, but they're going to have to get by some good teams here, and they're going to have, if this ends up being the matchup, they're going to have to get by one of the greatest pitchers of all time, in my opinion, in Max Scherzer. But tell me what you think down below. How dangerous do you think the St. Louis Cardinals will be in the playoffs this year? Do you think they'll be able to get by whoever they play in the wild card game, whether that's the Dodgers or the Giants? And let's say they do get by one of those teams. How do you think they're going to fare in the division round? How do you think they're going to fare if they can get by that, even in the championship round? Do you think they can go on a run to win a World Series? Let me know what you think down below in the comments, but that's all I have for right now. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.